Do you need all 50 state licenses in order to be successful in telemedicine? Some say yes, I say no. Let's talk about it. My name is Lori. I'm your telemedicine chick, and in my videos, I help empower and inspire you in your telemedicine career with my telewisdom. So the reason why I want to do this video is because a lot of people actually ask me this question, do they really need to get all 50 state licenses? And I really think that there could be benefits to it, and then there's not the really great benefits. So I want to go over the pros and cons of why exactly it would be great to have all of them, and then maybe reasons why maybe you don't need all of them. But before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you go down below and subscribe so that you don't miss a video when I publish them about all my telewisdom that I am imparting to you to help empower and inspire you in your telemedicine career. So let's start off with the pros. And number one is job opportunities. If you have every state license, when you apply for jobs, one, no matter what job is out there, you are definitely going to be qualified for it when it comes to the licensing part. But then also, that employer is going to look at you and go, oh my gosh, this NP has all state licenses. We need to interview this person. And they're definitely going to probably take you for an interview over someone who maybe only has 5 or 10 licenses. So that is definitely the biggest one, is that no matter what job opportunity that is out there, as long as you're qualified and you're very interested in it, you are definitely going to be a good candidate and you are going to have lots of job opportunities because of that. Next, you're going to have the potential to make a good amount of money, because no matter where you are always going to have volume. Some of these platforms, it just depends on the state, the volume of the state. I mean, of course, we always have those high volume states, and hopefully you have one of those or two of those licenses. But when it comes to platforms, sometimes they will have a certain amount of volume in this state, that state. Well, you are going to have that opportunity to make a good amount of money, because you're always going to be able to work no matter what platform you're on, no matter what states they have. You are going to have that opportunity because you have all of the states. So you absolutely have a potential to make a higher amount of money. So you're also going to have job security. You have all the state licenses. No matter what platform you're working on, in all likelihood, you are going to have the opportunity to work and to make money. So you can clearly see there are a lot of great pros to having all of the licenses. But let's talk about why maybe you wouldn't want to get all the licenses, because I think that this is really important. Personally, I do not have all state licenses, and I'm doing fairly well without them. And I think that everyone has their own telemedicine career goals and their priorities. And I think that you need to make the decision that is best for you. I am always sharing my experiences and how my life has been. I've been in telemedicine for quite some time now, and I'm always sharing what I personally have experienced. So again, you need to make the right decision for you. But let's talk about the cons, because that may persuade you just a little bit when it comes to, do I need all 50 states? So let's talk about the first con. And for me, it would be, how much are all of these licenses going to cost you to obtain? Now, I have figures here that are just for the application, nothing else. No background checks, no fingerprints, no national certification verification, no state verification of licenses, none of all of that stuff. Okay. So if you are in a compact state, that means you just need to apply for the NP license. It's going to cost you about $5,600 just to apply for all of the state licenses. And then if you are in a non-compact state, which means that you have to apply for an RN and an NP license, that is going to cost you over $12,000 to get all of the state licenses. Now, depending on your budget, maybe that is not really an issue for you, but when you are on a budget, those can be really, that's a lot. right? That's a lot of money. And I think that when you're thinking about how many licenses that you want, you need to also think about your ROI, return on investment. If I put all of this money in, how much money am I actually going to make for it to actually be beneficial? So that is something to really think about, is how much these cost and what is going to be your ROI on this investment. Now, I talked about the actual dollar amount that it costs to apply for these licenses, but let's talk about your time. Let's face it, it is not an easy thing to apply for all these licenses. It can be time consuming. Of course, and I've said this in other videos and I'm all about it, having a strategy, having everything organized is really important. It'll help speed up the process a little bit, but still, it does take time. And there's lots of there's that commercial, like, it talks about how much this costs and how much that costs, but your time is priceless, right? So how much time do you actually have to apply for all these licenses? Again, thinking about your ROI when it comes to that. But to me, that could possibly be a con of how much time do you actually have to dedicate to apply to all these licenses. Now, you may have it in a scheduled way, and there's various different ways that you can do it to make it more manageable, but it's just something to consider. So the other thing to think about is now you have all these licenses. Well, how are you going to manage them, right? You need to have them organized. You have to have managing them and knowing, making sure that you don't miss a renewal date. You have to think about all the continuing education that you need. You have to be on top of it. What does this state require? What does that state require? Is it just a number? Is it that they have pharmacology credits? Is it they have lots of them have controlled substance requirements? So it's a lot of work, okay? Trying to maintain. Of course, I have videos about having a system and making sure that you are organized, and that is very, very important. But you have to think about that. That is also your time that you are going to need to invest over the year that you have it until your renewal, to make sure that you are on top of every state and making sure that you're meeting all of those requirements, and also making sure that you know all of the legal requirements when it comes to regulations of your license, telehealth regulations, making sure that you are practiced safely in each state, and making sure that you are keeping your license safe. Because remember, these licenses are very, very, very valuable to you. This is your career. This is your career life, and you want to make sure that you are practicing very safely. And that is a lot of work when you have every state license. And lastly, what I really want you to think about is, and I've kind of mentioned it before, is your ROI, your return on investment. If I get all 50 state licenses, am I going to be utilizing all of those state licenses? Am I going to actually get a return on the investment that I not only initially did put in to get that license, but then I'm also paying for renewals. I'm also taking the time to make sure that I'm managing that state correctly. I'm getting the correct continuing education. So it's really important to think about that. And there are some state licenses that are out there that you might not necessarily really use that often. Now, I know absolutely it is a really good idea to have more than 5 licenses, but do you really need to have all 50 of them? And are you going to get a return on your investment by having all of those licenses? And that's something that you should really think about and consider before going, you know what, my goal is to get all 50 state licenses. So those are the things that I really think you should consider when you are going, what is my goal when it comes to my telemedicine career? Do I need to get all state licenses, or do I not? And if not, how many do I actually need? Now, personally, for me, I have 23 licenses. I, at one point, was going to keep going, but I'm like, why do I need to keep going? I'm doing very well in my career. I make well into 6 figures. I'm not even working full-time hours, and I'm really comfortable where I'm at. 23 licenses is for me enough to handle. I have my organization, I have my structure, my system to make sure that I'm on top of everything. And I can't imagine having more on top of it. But my point is if your career goal is to get all 50 state licenses, I think that's amazing. And I'm not discouraging you from doing that. What I'm just saying is to actually think about, do I really need to have all state licenses in order to have a successful career in telemedicine? I personally don't think that you need to. I think that if you had 20 or more, I think that you would be very valuable to a platform. I think that you can make very good money. I think that telemedicine platforms, they look at you like, wow, over 20 licenses. I think that that's really great. Now, I know when people are starting off, it is a lot to get those 20 licenses. Starting off with 5, 10. I have a video about that. I think that is totally fine. But I just don't think, depending on your goal, that you really need to have all 50 licenses. Even as a private practice, I do not practice in all of those states. I practice in a very small amount of states when it comes to my private practice. You do not need to have all of the states, in my personal opinion, in order to be successful. If you want lots of job opportunities, if you want a lot of flexibility, it could definitely be beneficial. But for me and my personal experience, again, you have to make that decision what is best for you. Having 23 states has been completely fine. I've done very well. I've had platforms reach out to me on LinkedIn for positions. So, because at one point I did put how many licenses I had up uh, on my LinkedIn profile. So, just think about it. That's all I'm saying. Just food for thought. It'll be interesting to hear what your goal is. You can put it down in the comment because I would love to see what your goal is when it comes to telemedicine. I hope that you found this video helpful. Again, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so, so that you will always be alerted when I publish my telewisdom videos. Also, please like it as I continue to help grow my community. Those likes really help me. And if you know someone who is either in telemedicine or planning on getting telemedicine and you think that they would benefit from this video, please make sure that you share it. Thank you so much, and reach out if you need anything. I got lots of links down below for you to check out. Take care, everybody.